Well, there's quite a few things. It's not just a white or black thing or Asian thing or Indian. For example, every time I mention, let's say something about India, or not just India, like India, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and some of it, a lot of people get triggered. I tell people, here's the problem. Imagine, let's say if you book a 2 week vacation. Let's say it doesn't matter. Let's say if you go to Switzerland or something. Let's say if you go to see the Alps, right? And imagine if you pay $300 for a hotel room, you check in, you expect it to be immaculate, to be clean, right? And what if you walked in and your room was completely trashed and you realized, you paid a non-refundable like $300 per night? You'd be pissed. But everywhere you go, especially you can see the documentaries. I think the worst country is not even India. The worst one is actually Bangladesh, which is,
Mm.
well, they used to be together, part of a British colony like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and then they split in 47. But if you look at their capital city, Dhaka, it's called, I believe has like 20 million people now. And so the entire city, in fact, the entire country, their main river, so the Ganges Delta flows through Bangladesh. The river is dead. Well, like the water is there, but it's completely black. It's full of plastic. It's full of pollution. And if you look at the entire country, there's almost no cleaning program. Like there's no garbage collection or anything. People just pile their trash over the streets, and the smell. You see, people are eating rotten meats, and they say I think if you live in the capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka, they say your average life expectancy will shrink by something like 10 years because of all the toxic fumes and everything. And it's just, if you look, the entire country is like that. Everywhere you go, there's trash and dirt, and there's people, obviously you've seen those videos, people urinating and defecating in the public beaches and public spaces. And I tell them that's the number one thing. That's why I tell people, India, why it's such a terrible, I'm sorry to say, it's a shithole country. It's because
Yeah.
these people don't care. I mean, obviously, what do you expect? Imagine, if you invited someone else, your best friends, to come over for dinner or to just play cards against humanity or something, and they saw
Hmm.
your basement, your living room, and it was just complete, just the state of degradation. Because I have seen those houses in Canada recently, ever since the Liberal Party of Canada took over. So that was November of 2015. They have taken in millions of Indians, and I covered that in some of the videos. And I believe, well, there's a lot of issues to this, but a lot of them they're
Hmm.
coming here basically backdoor. They're not legal. Like, it's like the people who are coming through the US Mexico border. They're like backdoor sketchy immigration methods. And I've seen some of these houses where these Indian people live. The only reason why, because a lot of these people, they're working at, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, KFC, Tim
Hmm.
Hortons, making minimum wage. And the only way they can survive, under the modern inflation era, it's sometimes they have a house of 20, 30, or even
Yep.
40 Indian guys living in them. And I've seen just the state of, and also that's 100% against the law. And it's just a shame the
Correct.
government's not doing anything, because you cannot just illegally lease your house, a 3 bedroom house, to like 30 Indian guys. And the
There.
stench is horrific. I walk in, I tell people it's not racist. These people, like, they have one
No.
bathroom for 30 guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said, those keyboard warriors. I generally, like, I've been living in Canada for over 20 years. I've had very, I mean, those cases happened when I was back in high school, how teenage boys. Yeah, I've had those actual words, the couple fist fights that broke out high school.
Hmm.
But ever since then, I would say has almost never happened when people would actually say words like that right to my face.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they live in this virtual reality. And I think the emergence of these games are very questionable, like the Call of Duty or whatever. I think it's for, or like, Grand Theft Auto, where it's very normal to just like murder police officers and go on battlefield and just blow someone's spring open. And nowadays the graphics are so insane. You got these 4K or 8K graphics. I think it's
Hmm.
making young men extremely violent, and it's not just a mental addiction. I deleted it. I used to play a game. It's not so popular anymore. Like A Ball Pool by Minute Clip. I probably spent, how much did I spend? I would say maybe $1,500 Canadian, could be higher. So you're looking at minimum, like over the course of like 2 years. Like it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, not like, but still, like it was like probably $100 a month, maybe like $75 a month for like 2 years. Because nowadays with all these games, you have to make in-game purchases. If you don't
Yeah.
spend money, like, you're going to tank, you're going to lose pretty much every single match. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, it really it's bad. And also I think it's part of the reason why so many young men are struggling financially as well, because the video game industry has completely destroyed a lot of young men. It's like a drug addiction for them, and and sometimes it does make you violent, because main reason why I deleted that game is because, well, mainly I'm not trying to be racist, but it's the game got taken over by Indians basically. So
Yeah.
Especially when you play, like sometimes you grind so hard for a few months. Let's say you win, like, like all these fake coins, obviously. So like, $10 million in coins or $20 million in coins. Then you play on like a big pool match, right? And you think you can win more, and you end up losing all your coins because they came up with this thing called Cheeto hack. It was literally came out of India. So it's like computer generated, it's automatic. So it doesn't matter what they do, they just tap on the phone screen and the ball automatically goes in every single time. Like you're guaranteed
Oh,
to lose.
Jesus.
So like, and then a lot of people started losing like crazy. So that's how I ended up deleting the game because a lot of it's garbage. So I think what those Indian guys were doing is that they will end up winning a bunch of coins. And I think for every like a billion coins or something, they can sell their account for like $100 US. So they were creating all these hacks to win like billions and billions in coins, so they could just sell all these fake accounts with these Cheeto hacks.
Well,
Yeah,
it is phenomenal to look at okay, so the Indian problem, the H-1B visa problem, that they bribe their ways into America to get developer jobs, to get white collar jobs. And the corporations are more than happy to hire these guys because they work for nothing.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
the whole AI actually Indians meme, like that's a real thing. These AI companies are getting found out for hiring just warehouses full of Indians that are answering your questions on Chat GPT. They're not real. It's not, or
Yeah,
whatever AI it was. I don't think it was Chat GPT. It was another one, but it turned out it was actually a room full of Indians that were doing it. And you think about globalization, and you think, okay, that part of the world now has access to the entire global internet and the entire global economy. Of course, they are going to try to ramp up to Western civilization's level of GDP production as fast as possible, just to feel like they're surviving. Like when you try to homogenize the entire globe and make it all the same, everyone becomes poorer and the quality of life of everyone goes down. I don't know if I'm
yeah,
articulating that
yes,
accurately, but
exactly.
that
Yeah.
really feels like what's happened, especially where I like in my life in the past 20 years. Like I keep going on these nostalgia trips in my mind. 2005, 20 years ago, was so much better. The video quality and bandwidth is better. That's the only thing I can think of. And then sometimes,
Yeah.
even this meeting, we've had it drop twice and we've had technical difficulties. Like
Yeah.
nothing works. Nothing works. The future does not feel better. And so, keeping all of that in mind, have you kind of ideated? Have you kind of imagined like what can guys do that are our age and younger? Like,
The only reason why the population is still going up, so we're at like 8.2 billion, and they say
mm-hmm.
that we can possibly reach 9 or even 10 billion. But the problem is that in all the developed countries, the population is dropping like this. The only reason why in Canada or America or Italy or Spain the population is going up is because obviously immigrants and
Yeah,
refugees. It's not natural growth. Look at
yeah,
Nigeria. So Nigeria is at there are like 237 million people now. And if you go back to 1960, Nigeria was at like 33 million. So there's a population explosion. So that means more people to pay taxes, more people for work slave labor. And that's why so they want to bring all of these people from third world countries into developed countries.
yeah,
But it's massive problems. And also
doesn't,
like
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, for example, a lot of these countries, for example, I think in South Africa, the unemployment rate is like 50%. And so, like in a perfect world, it's very difficult to manage. Obviously, like two people, two children, that's perfect. So you have a stable population pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And when it shrinks to like this, when everybody's having one children or not even one children, it goes like this, that's bad. But it's also very bad when the pyramid is actually like a pyramid because there's way too
Yeah,
many people. That means if every couple gets married and have six, seven, or eight children, how are you going to feed these people? How are you going to find jobs for these people? That's why so many of them are trying to move into developed countries. So,
yeah,
I think at some point, it's for everybody to consider. Maybe getting married for having children is not for everybody. Sure, the population is going to go down, but at some point it has to happen because like the world cannot handle like 30 billion or 40
no,
billion people.
it's
Because obviously I do spend quite a bit of time on like websites like YouTube, but like I never look at those shorts. I do actually when I have time I enjoy like I watch a full like 1 hour or even an hour and a
mm-hmm.
half or 2 hours. Sometimes I don't finish it in one go, but I'll come back to that video. The horizontal videos I think sometimes they're very educational and informative.
Much better. Yeah,
Those vertical shorts, as soon as you see
not a
one, like
fan.
you just want to swipe. You think about the next one, the next one, next one.
Yep.
And it destroys your attention span. And a lot of times people cut things out of context and they think, oh, this guy's speaking some really misogynistic or racist stuff. But if you actually listen to the whole conversation, that's not
Right.
like actually how the conversation went. So it's terrible. I think people like I think the video game addiction has to at some point I think you just have to say goodbye to video games altogether because the
Right.
in-game it's not just like the time you're consuming, it's not just the gore and the violence, also the in-game purchases will kill you.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
way
like
that video games
yeah.
are.
And nowadays with the rise of technology, like someone is like, oh, now like you're dead in this game. Now purchase this item for
Yeah,
$20.
right.
But now
Right.
someone you can just use Face ID on your phone. All you need to do is double tap on this button and just scan your face, and then $20 out of your credit card, just like that.
Super
Yeah,
chats. It's you
yeah.
scan your thumb and now you're sending somebody $20. It's like, whoops, what
Yeah.
happened there?
And I think not quite it because I think very, very soon I will delete probably like X, Instagram, Facebook, and all social media. I will try it for a while, but I think eventually it'll become permanent because I
Yeah.
think it's just a lot of brain rot garbage. Because over the years, honestly, I have found very, very few useful information out of it. Yes, obviously, I've gained very knowledgeable information from the internet over the years, but I would say all of that has come from watching long form documentaries.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if you watched like my 47-minute video on China's Century of Humiliation, I don't know if you saw it,
Hmm.
but here's the
I
thing.
did.
So, like, that's from years and years of knowledge. Like, for that video, I didn't have to do any research. I just wrote some, just a few key points down on a piece of paper and I just wrote it down on the blackboard. And that's all from just years and years of, reading book and watch long form of
Well,
documentaries. I
and you're
think it actually
from
helps.
there, so it helps
Yeah.
a little bit.
It helps. And yeah, I think people are very misinformed. And I did mention one brief example because a lot of people don't know this. Also, the media is destroying. I think obviously young man needs to stay away from mainstream media, actually, read a book or something. The reason why my fitness, I tell people, has been on a decline. I made two varsity teams. I ran 6 marathons and 22 half marathons. I don't know if
Wow.
you've seen the photo. I used to weigh 242 pounds. So and from my lowest weight, I put on a little bit of weight. I'll be completely honest. So right now, at my lowest, that was 161. So from
Very
242
impressive.
down to 161. That's why I tell people, like, I can't control my height, right? I can't control my jawline, but your fitness, right? If a
Yes,
woman wants a guy to get in shape, you have no excuse. The same thing for a woman.
that's
If a
true.
guy does not want a fat woman, get yourself in shape, right? And I tell people I had so many setbacks over the years. During my first marathon, I actually almost broke my red leg, and I limped to the finish line. I didn't want to drop out of the race, and so many setbacks, injuries, and over the years, the reason why my fitness has been going back is a really terrible sickness. Like it's like pneumonia related, back to back years. Both happened in November, at the end of November, 2023, 2024.
Wow.
And but yeah, I need to somehow find my fitness back. So that's why it's been so hard to control my weight because I'm used to running like 60 miles a week, but now I'm not doing that. But here's the thing, I tell people, right? You see all this happening in the world. You see these celebrities, you see these guys who are, the top G who are rolling the dough. But I tell people
Yeah.
a lot of it is fake, or even if
Yeah.
it's real, that's 1% of the population. The vast majority of the people will never have that, and you got to stop comparing yourself to those people. And what
Yes.
I've realized in those days, even look at someone like Robin Williams, and everybody has their struggles, and everybody has bad days.
Yeah.
The best athletes in the world, you've seen both Michael Phelps, LeBron James, they've all had bad days. And just when you're at your darkest moments, I think it's very important because even though my family is pretty insane, but the vast majority of you still have some kind of family connection. At least
True.
I hope that, certainly if it's not with your father or with your mother, perhaps a grandparent, no, you got to reach out to your family. Just think about, back at your grandma's house, just eating some pumpkin pie and just to seek some
I love
comfort.
pumpkin pie.
Yeah, it's very important to have those moments because
Yes.
I think people are just so focused on like the wrong stuff. For
Yeah.
example, if you scroll on social media, you see some crazy guy who says that, oh, I'm trigender or I'm queer,
Yeah. Right.
transgender,
Right.
non-binary. I'm like that has nothing to do with you. You're worried about the wrong stuff. I
Yeah.
understand. Obviously, if you have a brother who says, oh, I want to become a woman and cut my balls off, then I think you need to have a serious conversation. But yeah, stop doom scrolling about those insane videos where you see some crazy woman in Houston saying that, oh my God, crush the patriarchy, all men are evil. But that's just one of the very, very few crazy ones. And the reason why when you scroll, you see those videos is because the craziest people, they make it to the top of the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's why. And you think everybody's crazy. And I tell people, like, no, not all women are like that. And not all men are absolutely crazy like that. And, I tell people, not all black people are bad. Not like all Hispanic people are bad. Yes, some are bad. And some of it, it's forced on us by our government. I said, it's not all Indian people are bad. But the problem is that, we cannot be letting in 1 million people from India every single
No.
year. It's not, the fault of the individuals. It's sometimes it's the system, it's the government, it's the media, it's the school board that's trying to destroy us. So, I think we're all going to have those moments where we're all going to be struggling. I think it's important just to take a step back, stay away from all social media and actually reach out to a family member for help and actually tell them that you're struggling because, oftentimes I think the reason why people actually shed a tear, people actually show emotion or they cry, it's not because they're weak. It's because they pretend that they're strong, and they try to put on this fake masculinity, and they basically they have been faking it for too long. And I think it's important to actually reach out to a family member and show some real emotion. And yeah, stay away from social media, or certainly the short vertical form videos. Yeah.
Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now.